Welcome to Thieves' Cant, a tabletop gaming podcast, with your hosts, Jeremy Shane and Chris Wight.
Welcome in and welcome back. It is Thieves' Cant, Saturday, September 13th. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Chris Wight.
And thanks for being here as always. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing okay. It's been another week and we're back around. We've got a game day ahead.
That's right.
Excited about that.
That's right.
So forgive the early morning low rumble in the voice here. It's still waking up.
Yeah. It's early for us, not for you when you hear this.
Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for following at thievescantcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen. If you want to reach out, you can do so. Email thievescantcast@gmail.com. Chris, coming up in today's show, we crack open the lore vault to explore a particularly brutal Roman punishment that could make a great hook for your game. Asmodee seeks to make its games more accessible for your kiddos. The HP Lovecraft Historical Society is set to release a new adventure, and the Wight-Box on Kickstarter bundles up some nostalgia for old-school gaming fans. But first, we've got some listener feedback. In regards to our run-through of Draw Steel over on Thieves' Cant Capers, Fox Trick on YouTube says, "Please start playing the game. Fun awaits you and your friends. Buy the Delian Tomb starter adventure and get rolling." Well, Fox Trick, we hear you loud and clear.
Oh, yeah.
Draw Steel is next up in our queue. We do plan to play, and we have procured a copy of the Delian Tomb, so we are going to roll that out.
Oh yeah, it's not my fault. I just laid out the adventure, and they're in a dungeon, and they don't want to solve it. They don't want to get through it.
You're referencing the game that we are currently...
Our current game.
Like, efforting to wrap up.
Yes.
So that we can play Draw Steel.
This is not my fault. So I will say these have been the easiest sessions I've ever run in my life.
You have had no prep for months.
It was laid out. I'm just like, what are we going to do today? What's today, kids?
So maybe this will be the day that we do wrap it up, and next time we game, we're eyeballing some Draw Steel.
That's right.
Who knows?
I'm ready, man. I'm excited.
But yeah, Fox Trick, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Also, in regards to our sister show, Thieves' Cant Capers, Jordavax on YouTube says, "Thieves should be allowed to capers if they so choose."
When I read this, I want you to know that I thought the same thing.
Right.
I didn't voice it, but I understand. So thank you for the comment.
Yep. Jordavax, appreciate you listening and giving us that feedback. Again, at Thieves Can't Cast. All right. Ready for our question of the week?
I hope so.
All right. So still talking Draw Steel here. You and I both, Chris, have said time and time again, wow, these subclasses in Draw Steel really allow you to create characters of the same class that feel and we think will play vastly different from one another.
Yeah, I love it.
So, with that in mind, let's say you're playing in or running a game in which all the PCs are of the same core class or archetype, Draw Steel or otherwise. Game doesn't matter. The same general archetype. Which one would you like to see used?
Paladins.
All paladins, like all of the same order, maybe?
Well, that would probably help. But I love paladins. So my least favorite bards, no bards. Can you imagine a party full of bards? Everybody competing for attention.
I don't think I could do it.
It's no good.
I don't think I could do it. A group of rogues or thieves could be fun.
All stealth party. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
I think just everybody having a primary focus helps. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like a group of fighters like that, you might have some weaknesses. You might have some shortcomings,
right?
But it could be fun.
What about all barbarians?
Oh, wow.
Like all from the same tribe?
That does sound pretty fun.
That could be cool.
Yeah, oh, yeah. They're all, yeah. Like, again, really, it's just about that focus. and recognizing your limitations. But yes, the group of wild barbarians rolling through, and he's raging and she's raging, and everybody's laying down some slaughter. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Zooming back out a little bit, even in a class-based system, I think if you default back to archetype, you could have folks from different classes that still fall under the same general umbrella. Like, we could all be thieves, even though I'm actually a sorcerer. You're playing a fighter. These two are actually playing rogues, but we're all part of the same like band of thieves.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this is the skill set that I use in our thieving escapades.
Yeah, that's true, because it's a little less individual focused, a little more purpose focused.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
All right, question of the week out of the way. It's been a light news week, but we do have a couple of headlines to get into. Asmodee plans to adapt its most iconic games into shorter, child-friendly versions with the launch of a kids-focused brand, simplifying some of their big games. The first titles to be released include My First Unlock. That comes out later this week. They're planning to release in October Splendor Kids, and coming up in January of next year, Dixit Kids. All of these original games are major successes, selling millions of copies apiece. But they just kind of wanted to take the approach, let's shorten game time. Let's simplify some of the rules and make this more accessible for families with kids that have an interest in games, but maybe there's been a barrier to this point.
Yeah, it sounds good. I just, if I'm a kid, I don't really want to be a kid.
Yeah.
I want to be a hulking barbarian.
Right.
I want to be Iron Man, or whatever. I never liked, when I was a kid, I never liked like the Spy Kids movies.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I want to be awesome.
You want to be the adult, cool super spy. You don't want to be the kid having to be a kid.
Yeah.
Like the kid fantasy is to be more than just a kid.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
I think that was me.
I think on the board game level, though, if you can just simplify some of the more complex mechanics.
Yeah, if that's what it is, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think accessibility is great.
And the big thing is shortening the length of the games. That was... Man, I've got kids that I had major plans from before they were born to turn them into hardcore gamers. And, you quickly discover, well, your kids are their own people. They have their own interests. But one of the things that always turned off my children was the length of play for games.
Yeah.
Their attention spans just aren't there. They don't have it in them to sit at a game table for hours at a time.
I don't either. This might be for me, actually. I probably need to check these out because this sounds perfect.
All right, Asmodee, you've got yourself at least one customer here. The H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society has announced the Spark Devil. I'm excited about this one. This is a new Call of Cthulhu adventure written by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society's Sean Branney. It comes with a new set of props in addition to the adventure. These props, of course, Chris, this is the same group of people responsible for the Masks of Nyarlathotep prop set.
Which was awesome.
So the quality on products from the Historical Society, they are unmatched. This will be a high quality purchase, and it should be. You're looking at over $100 for the adventure and the props. Here's this is from the product page itself. The adventure, set in Providence during the Great Depression, investigators look into the sudden death of an electrician. The inquiry thrusts them into a strange but true chapter of Providence history and pits them against entirely new mythos horrors. Can they find a measure of solace for a grieving family, or are they merely paving the way for the terrors of a new dark age? Sounds good.
After Draw Steel, I think we need to play this.
Look into some Call of Cthulhu.
It sounds pretty fun, yeah.
So again, the box set contains real physical props, large format maps, handouts, documents, audio props. They've got digital tools as well if you're playing online. And then, of course, the lavishly illustrated game book that will walk keepers through through the story. Starts shipping in mid-October. So caught my eye. If you're a Cthulhu lover, or you just love high-quality gaming products, you're going to find it here.
Yeah, I'm sold on them. It's really high-quality stuff.
Those are the headlines. So let's jump over to crowdfunding. All right, more old-school goodness on Kickstarter. The Wight-Box, and that would be W-I-G-H-T. The Wight-Box rules for fantastic medieval adventure war games from the Basic Expert. This is funding for another 17 days. It is fully funded, so you know what's happening. What is it? Well, this combines the original 3 D&D booklets with Chainmail's rule set. From the project page, if you've ever found the Wight-Box or Zero-E rules daunting or disjointed, Wight-Box offers a clear and faithful interpretation that brings the magic of 1970s tabletop gaming to modern presentation. Several tiers to choose from. There is a $60 tier that gets you the premium set featuring 3 saddle-stitched black and white booklets. That's Volume 1 Heroes, Volume 2 Monsters and Loot, Volume 3 Adventuring. You get a 7-piece red dice set, 20 character sheets. It comes with a hex game board. Looks like a DM screen, and all in a nifty box that'll hold all of your gaming goodness.
This sounds pretty good.
If you want original D&D, just repackaged once again,
right?
Here it is.
Yeah,
here it is. I don't say that as a knock. It's just this is another representation of the game that we all know.
Right.
If you've never had a chance to play with the original source material, this repackaging is a great jumping on point.
Yeah, it's almost like a historical document at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Again, that's the Wight-Box on Kickstarter, funding for another couple of weeks. Okay, Chris. Once again, we've got a Lore Vault segment.
Crack it open.
Notice I said Lore Vault.
I did.
I'm all in with the rebrand.
Yeah, that's right. Embrace it.
Okay, bringing a little real-world lore into your game, potential hooks here. I was looking around last night on Livius.org. I was not super familiar with this. I know after reading up on it, this is not the most obscure bit of history that I could have dug up, but it's new to me, the concept of Roman Decimation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know
that's rough stuff. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah.
All right. So again, Chris is familiar. You might be familiar, or maybe you're like me and this is something brand new for you. But let's talk about Roman Decimation and the sort of hooks that might inspire for your TTRPG. So Decimation, this is from Livius.org, was never a common punishment. It was too harsh and would no longer inspire terror if it were applied too often. And that's a key part. And we'll talk about what this punishment is, but one of the main designs was to instill absolute terror in the ranks of Roman soldiers.
It's psychological.
Very psychological.
This would always be in the back of your mind, I think.
After a very serious offense, like, let's say the soldiers tried to stage a mutiny, or maybe they panicked on the battlefield and they were routed. Something went horribly wrong. Whatever. The folks up top think that the soldiers need to be punished.
Mm-hmm.
An officer would go to the subunit that was to be punished, and by lot, he chose 1 in 10 men for capital punishment. The surviving 9 were ordered to club the man or sometimes stone the man to death. The Greek historian Polybius of Megalopolis describes the procedure, says the tribune assembles the legion and brings up those guilty of leaving the ranks, reproaches them sharply, and finally chooses by lots, sometimes 5, sometimes 8, sometimes 20 of the offenders, so adjusting the number thus chosen that they form as near as possible the 10th part of those guilty of cowardice. Those on whom the lot falls are, what is this word, Chris?
I don't know.
Bastinadoed?
Bastinadoed. That sounds good. Bastinado.
We'll go with that. I am probably botching the pronunciation. Let's just say they are clubbed mercilessly. The rest receive, so if you survive, you receive rations of barley instead of wheat and are ordered to encamp outside the camp on an unprotected spot. As therefore the danger and dread of drawing the fatal lot affects all equally, as it is uncertain on whom it will fall. And as the public disgrace of receiving barley rations falls on all alike, this practice is that best calculated both to inspire fear and to correct the mischief. Brutal.
You can only imagine when you were in a battle and things were going poorly and every instinct was driving you to run away, that in the back of your mind you'd think, we're going to be facing decimation if we do this.
Right. So I read something like this and immediately I start thinking, like, how could I use this in a game? How could I bring this into my role-playing game?
Right.
What sorts of hooks come to mind?
Well, you have to consider the act, right? Is this good or is this evil?
I mean,
go ahead.
Right. It feels evil.
It does.
Right.
Right.
So in a game world, you would imagine maybe an evil ruler ordering something like this.
It seems like this is something you would commonly see under a tyrannical rule. The first application that seems obvious to me is if you want to represent the villains or a villainous nation, an evil empire, or maybe it's the Orc Raiders, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That to have that made apparent to the players that this is something that's happening. And it explains why they don't run in combat.
Yeah.
Like why
they're so driven.
Yeah. Why don't these goblins ever retreat? Like, why are they so fanatical? Well, when you find out that, they're going to face this, they're going to have to beat their comrade, it explains that behavior, first of all, because it doesn't make sense. Oftentimes, every enemy that you face fights to the death. And it's like, why would they do that?
There is far too little surrender in TTRPGs.
Or fleeing. I mean, it's, morale drops.
Right.
And when it does, people flee. Now, obviously, every military has had to answer the question of what's supposed to happen. And it's not uncommon for deserters to be executed. So that part you can somewhat understand. It's the cruelty of it. It's also that they put it in your hands. You're going to prove your loyalty, and you're going to do this because this fellow soldier that you fought alongside and you were friends with and you had camaraderie with, you're going to be the one that's going to pick up the club, and you're going to be the one that's dealing the potentially fatal blow.
Yeah. So taken as it is, the idea of Roman decimation, just transporting that into your game. Yeah, this could be, as you said, something that the PCs catch wind of. They know that these are the rumors swirling around that this is what the enemy practices. Alternatively, maybe the PCs are amongst that fighting force, and they know that this is a possibility if that's the sort of game that you're running.
Mm-hmm.
But let's also talk about how we can throw wrinkles into the real world lore to suit maybe our fantasy game. Like maybe it's not death that the 1 in 10 end up facing. Or maybe it is, and then it's undeath.
Oh.
Maybe the 1 in 10 become a select unit.
Ooh, okay.
Right.
So there's some...
Can we play with that?
Yeah, there's some really different repercussions there, aren't there? You're going to serve. It's just, are you going to do it willingly, or are you going to do it, well, unwillingly? I mean, undeath is a really interesting facet for any type of military organization. If that's a possibility, that, you could have soldiers that fight on beyond, and then it's even the matter of, is it an undead husk, or am I in there?
Right.
That's another big question with the undead that you always have to answer.
And another question, if there are benefits to having like undead serving, right? Then what makes this a punishment for a select few rather than this tyrannical leader just wholesale saying, well, you're all going to be better if you're going to better serve if you're all undead.
Yeah.
So we've got to answer those sorts of questions as well.
There are a lot of advantages to an undead army.
Right.
You don't have to feed them. They don't need to rest. They can march all day and all night long. So, if you're an evil leader who doesn't have a lot of scruples, who doesn't have any moral issues with raising an undead army, there's a lot of upside there.
So then that would be one of my big questions. If there are clear advantages to having an undead army versus a living army, how do we maintain this idea of the decimation and keep it, 1 in 10? What's stopping the tyrant from just creating an all undead army? Is it resources? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's incredibly difficult for this to happen, which explains why it's a rare occurrence, but it's still always a looming specter over those soldiers.
Well, I think resources is a big one. How many necromancers do you have laying around in your forces? But it's, it's also, maybe it's how you're regarded by others. Most leaders still, they might be able to justify, hey, here's an army of deserters. This is how we treat them. But when you're trying to turn everyone, all of a sudden it's like, do I really want to ally with this guy? Because he seems like he's on a mission to destroy the world. It's perception, I think, is part of it.
So maybe it is kept hush hush. If after this punishment, the 1 in 10 are going to be raised as some sort of undead special forces, maybe they are kept secret. They are away from the main encampment. Can you imagine? Let's say you are a PC, a soldier fighting under this tyrant, and the decimation has happened. You witnessed it. Hopefully, you didn't have to be involved in it, but you know what happened. And maybe weeks later, you're in the middle of a pitched battle. You feel the tide of battle turn against you, but then reinforcements arrive.
The Gray Legion.
Yes, right? And all of a sudden, familiar faces are there, but in a different form. I would like to see that play out at the table.
Yeah, because your own soldiers would probably be just as disturbed and terrified by seeing that as the enemy.
Yeah.
It's like you give them a wide berth. And the psychological effects there are incredible. I mean, as you wouldn't want to do this to every soldier because there would be no morale, right? Everybody would be deserting desperately, right? But if it's enough, and it's like, Tom deserted. Of course, again, with the Romans, though, this was random. And that's kind of scary, too. I think that's almost worse because it's like you all buckled. Maybe there were some who didn't or tried to stand.
Right. This is the grade school class that everybody's being punished because half the class, couldn't stop talking when the teacher, was trying to give her lesson.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And so now it's at the point where, like, you see the fellow next to you is starting to take a few steps back. And it's like, hey, you're not doing this to us. You get back in line or I'm going to take you down right now. It would be
an hour later.
Yeah, because how intense would that be? Because I don't want to be that for all of eternity, right?
Yeah.
So it's a powerful motivator.
Okay, so undeath is one wrinkle that we could throw into this concept to bring into your TTRPG. If not that, are there some other directions we could go with it?
Well, I mean, we've looked at it from a military perspective.
Sure.
But what if we considered how something like this might impact civilian life?
Okay, I didn't even think about that.
So, I mean, whether you're looking at the undead aspect or just looking at the beating, right? The only problem with civilian life is, what if you did this with a family? Like, okay, you stole from the king. This is punishable by death, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to draw straws with your whole family. And one of them, you're going to club them to death.
Oh, man. Now.
Or the whole family dies.
Jeez.
You choose.
I don't want you to be my GM anymore.
Right. But I mean, this is an even greater cruelty because it's like, this isn't what I signed up for. With the military, at least you signed on the dotted line and maybe you had an idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking you've got your collection of PCs and they're maybe traveling to a city where, there is an emperor, a lord who has instituted this sort of law. Mm-hmm. And this is the city that you're about to walk into, the snake pit.
Yeah.
So
the atmosphere this creates reminds me a lot of early writings of like Menzo Barans and like the way the Drow were presented.
Yeah.
Because it's just that the house comes first, sacrifices have to be made, and that's understood.
Yeah.
So if you mess up bad enough, we'll take care of it. We take care of our own. It may not even have to be something that's ordered. It's just implied. This person is a problem. They've done something that brings shame to the house. You better put them down. Mm. This is Fredo, right? Fredo's got to go down. He's messing with the whole Corleone family, right? Yeah. So this would be harsh. And it would be interesting to see how players interact in a setting that has so much brutal repercussions for mistakes that are made or crimes that are committed.
Inspiration is everywhere. Again, some of this real world lore. How can we bring that into our games? Roman Decimation, I think, is ripe with content. So that'll do it for the Lore Vault. It'll also bring us to the close of another episode of Thieves Can't. Chris, it goes by so quickly.
It does. I know we enjoy it. I hope somebody else does out there.
Yeah. Don't forget, we're going to see you a little later this week for another episode of Thieves Can't Capers, our sister show. We're going to wrap up our discussion of Draw Steel classes. So if you haven't checked that show out, be sure you find it on the channel. Catch up. Explore Draw Steel with us. It's fun.
Yeah, we're going to do the 3 T's this week.
We've got the Talent, the
Troubadour,
and
the Tactician.
So we'll see you on Thieves Can't Capers later in the week. We will see you next weekend for another episode of Thieves Can't. Until then, have a great week. Great week of life, great week of gaming. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Chris White.
We will see you next time. So long.
Thank you for listening to Thieves Can't. Email thievescantcast@gmail.com.